snare. And he got no snare in his headphones. Here we go. Welcome into Just the Tip, a fantasy football podcast. We are at episode 11. It is June 8th, 2021. I just want to say, hey there, guys. Happy National Best Friend Day. I can't imagine celebrating it with anybody else besides you two. Nobody else here. Just us three. Maybe our producer. I guess he's kind of a best friend too. We'll include him. Regan, how was your weekend, man?
Oh, it was wonderful. You know, I turned a year older and took a couple years off my life with alcohol.
That's the best way to do it.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It was fun to go. Ryan didn't show up, but Ryan, how was your weekend?
It was good. I had to work. Excellent stuff. Thanks for dropping Best Friend Day on me. I didn't even get you anything.
It's all right. You can send me something later.
You guys both owed me for friendship payments, so we're even.
What the hell? I've brought you plenty of beer.
And you got me a nice T-shirt.
To slowly kill you.
I still owe you 4 Heady Toppers. I drank one of them, so it's just a 3-pack now.
I don't think Regan's gonna like those.
Actually, I love them.
Did you? Oh,
I had them in Vermont.
Did you? All right.
And the only way you could get them is as the truck pulls up to the restaurant. And that's what the lady told me. She's like, they're so hard to find. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
Yet you wasted one.
Consumed one.
He didn't waste it. He
wasted it.
But yes, you're right. It is very hard to get one.
Oh.
But no, it was a great weekend, man. It was fun at your party. Got to speak to some fans. Ryan, if you showed some face there, we could have met with the fans. But would you like to say hi to a couple fans? Say hi, Ryan.
So corny.
For those listening, I'm holding up fans.
The corniness is only going to get worse as we go here.
Dad joke, and I'm not even a dad. There we go.
Yeah, that's supposed to be us.
Well, that's why I'm the king at them.
Have you been getting feedback? People telling you to use props?
Your dad was giving me some tips. So.
God. Don't tell us that guy about football.
Oh, no. He wasn't talking about football.
All right. I think I'm going to go.
This is getting awkward. No, he was talking about the podcast. He loved the ball buster and everything. So, hey, Mr. Regan. How are you? Regan's dad. Matt's dad.
Hi, Dad. Sorry.
Say hi. Sorry you have to see me like this. And a handful of other people. But yeah, he's watching us on YouTube. That's hopefully where you are watching or listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, or Amazon podcasts. If you would hit the follow button, the subscribe, download the episode, hit the like button, share our tips. Give us a 5-star rating if you would, or a 1-star after that intro. I wouldn't blame you. Share our tips. You can share yours too if you want. With your friends and family, get our name out there. We'd really appreciate it. Help us out. Get more notice. Be able to do this more for you. Hopefully during the season we can bump up our weekly episodes to a couple more. Get more time doing that. So we just really appreciate you guys for all the support there. Right now, without further ado, we will get into Mr. Haynes in your briefs.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
What do you got for us, Ryan?
We got good news today. We got lots of news today. So
Lots of it.
First piece of news, Gus Edwards signs a 2-year extension with the Baltimore Ravens. Does this have any impact on J.K. Dobbins? Or what impact does it have on J.K. Dobbins?
All
Go
of
ahead,
the
Regan.
impact.
Yeah.
All of the impact.
Yeah. He's going to give it all.
$10 million for 2 years, making pretty good money. Obviously, that's good.
That's an extension, so he still has this season plus 2 more. So
Right.
He's not splitting carries with Dobbins, though. We're not buying that, are we?
Mark Ingram took a handful away. It's a small pie there, man. You got Jackson running, and now you got Edwards and Dobbins splitting.
Yeah, no, I saw Harbaugh today came out and said that their main goal in the offseason is to get more receptions to these running backs, which is good news. So maybe they'll have a little bit more to split.
All right.
And coaches always tell the truth.
I think J.K. Dobbins is a superior talent to Gus Edwards, but,
Well,
that's just me.
Still hurts.
No, he is. But he's just going to take away some stuff from him. That's all.
Next.
All right. Packers president Mark Murphy says Rodgers' situation is dividing the fan base. Can we say this guy is cutting the cheese?
I was waiting for a drop. Yeah.
There it is. And the dad jokes continue.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
A dad made it this time.
Yeah, at least he did. Well, Regan, go ahead.
Yeah, this is it's a joke. It's gross. And I guess today, what's his name? Why can't I think it? Is it Love? The backup?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love. He was getting booed by the fans today after throwing a pick. And so things aren't going well there at all.
Did you guys see Miles Teller, while he was on vacation with Aaron Rodgers, got jumped by a couple of guys? I think being around Aaron Rodgers is just as much of a curse as being in the Green Bay Packers organization at this point.
That is very well put.
Hey, at least he has good insurance.
I think that was the funniest one yet.
All right, I get it. Well, I had another one queued up, but that one was totally shoot from the hip there. But yeah, what he didn't show up to OTAs, mandatory OTAs today. He's not expected to show up at all. He's being fined over $90,000, and that's a lot of cheddar.
Oh yeah,
It's a lot of cheddar.
That was a better one.
That was a better. All right.
Is it $90,000 every practice? Isn't that what it is?
Every one he misses is like $93,000, $94,000, something like that.
Oh man, that just makes me
Outrageous.
sick.
Right to the stomach.
It's all right. They'll settle. He'll do some sort of donation and Boys and Girls Club, something silly like that, and he'll be fine.
It'll be less than $90,000. He'll make out like a bandit. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. While he's still having fun with celebrities.
That's very true. The biggest piece of news of this week: Julio Jones to the Titans, not the Patriots.
Boo.
You had to bring that up, huh?
Falcons receive a second-round pick, which we did say would be enough. And so that's in 2022, 2023 fourth. And the Titans receive Jones in a 2023 sixth. So, What do you guys think?
Well, I wanted him to go to the Colts, and now I'm sure the Colts are kicking themselves that they have to face him twice as long as he stays healthy. So that's a problem. And we'll get into it more later because we conveniently are breaking down this division. But, we should have seen it coming. I tweeted it out on our page, just a tip, FFP, for those that want to follow us on Twitter, of him working out with Derrick Henry. So, the writing was literally there, or the video's worth 1,000 words. So, yeah, it's a good move for them, man. It should be an exciting competition with the Titans coming up.
I think that picture's worth about $26 million, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, videos are worth more.
I just read his contract.
So lastly, as we are talking about the Tennessee Titans in the AFC South, let's go back a little bit. So so NFL.com has the 5 greatest plays of all time, with the Music City Miracle being the number 4 play all time. What do you guys think? Where does this fall in the top 5 of plays for you guys? And was Frank Wycheck's pass to Dyson a lateral or an illegal pass?
I think it was legal. You can't take it away from him.
It was definitely an illegal pass. Dyson caught it at like the 25. Wycheck passed it from
know,
like
but you
23 and a
can't
half. And they reviewed it. I didn't even know they had review then.
They
Watching
did.
the clip back, I'm like, how'd you miss it?
Very limited, man. But yeah, you've been sticking with that since the time. You have not changed your mind at all. I remember in high school talking about it or whatever. But it was tough to reverse the call. So that was before they said there's not enough evidence, and yeah, whatever. They did the deep dive in that video that you showed. We can share that too if people want to watch it. It's a quick video of the line and everything. It's like that immaculate reception there. You know, it's not enough evidence. It'll be a debate forever. It really will. But for my biggest play ever, shout out to Raiders fans and stuff. It's the tuck rule, man. Without that play, Brady would not have been the GOAT. So you can tip your hat to Raiders. Yeah, good for them.
Thank you, producer.
And then, the Miami Miracle, where they didn't make the playoffs, but they upset the Patriots by making Gronk look silly out there trying to tackle. But no, that's not even the top 50 greatest plays.
I did enjoy number 5. Malcolm Butler picks off a Super Bowl win.
That was a great play.
What a game.
That was way better than the Miami Miracle, whatever the hell that is.
I hated that when they started going with it. I'm like, please don't. Please.
You didn't happen to see the Atlanta comeback ranking. Was that on there?
Well, that's not just one play, though. The whole game.
The whole game.
Well,
Edelman's catch then.
Edelman's catch is probably one of the greatest catches. That whole game, my favorite stat of that is that the Patriots win without leading for a single second in that Super Bowl. I love that one.
Oh God, I love it.
That's all I got for the briefs this time, guys.
That was a lot right there.
Yeah, that was a lengthier brief.
Those are like long johns.
So that's why it's so
definitely
big.
like long johns.
That's perfect.
They are like long johns, man. Alrighty, so where are we? Well, after the briefs, we're going to break down. We're going to continue on, finishing up the AFC with the AFC South this week. Who we got up first here, Regan?
We have the Indianapolis Colts, who I didn't have fun looking at all. Not because they're a bad team. They actually are a very well-rounded, good team. Record 11-5 last year. Just, other than getting Carson Wentz in the offseason, nothing really happened. They lost Anthony Costanzo. He retired after 10 years, I believe, so they needed a tackle. They ended up grabbing Eric Fisher from Kansas City. Ended up getting another free agent, Chris Reed from Carolina, who's pretty much just like a plug-and-play O-line. And they re-signed their vet, T.Y. Hilton, 1 year, $8 million. Marlon Mack, they re-signed 1 year, $2 million. Mo Alley Cox, 1 year, 3.3 something and change million.
That guy's giant, dude.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
He really is. It's absurd. But that being said, it's not very flashy. Like you said, it would have been cool to see Julio to come to a team like this. If Carson Wentz can really step it up and bring it back to his MVP level, it'd be something special. I'm really not going to, they didn't draft much. The main guy would be Kwity Paye. They drafted with a 21 overall pick. We talked about this before, but I highly suggest go looking at this man's story. He's already impressing coaches in practice of pretty much just like his IQ of the game and being able to explain defenses and what's going on. So they had great words for him. That being said, the team's main need was edge rushers and left tackle, so they got both of those in free agency in the draft. Oh man, I'm gonna forget this guy's the coach's last name again.
Reich.
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich. So he was the offensive coordinator. You guys know how I am with names. So, anyways, he was the offensive coordinator.
It's okay. Scheffler.
Anyways, so Frank Reich, he was the offensive coordinator in 2017. I don't really want to talk about the season, but it had to do with a baloney Super Bowl season for the Eagles. He's now on his fourth year as the Colts head coach. So obviously he got to see Carson Wentz back in the day, but a couple years ago, he got to see him, and he's taking a chance on him, and grabbing him in free agency, and it came with a hefty price tag. I think his remainder of the money of his contract is $111 million, which is absurd. I think this year it's $25.4 million. I think he has one more year that's guaranteed, and then they're kind of off the hook if they ended up dropping him. That being said, the Colts were in a good position to get somebody like Julio Jones too. They had $50 million left over after signing Carson Wentz. So obviously that was before most the rest of their free agency and so on, and signing their rookies. But $50 million was nice. So getting back to who they're re-signed, T.Y. Hilton, obviously a great veteran player. He's been a little sluggish the past 2 years. He's coming off a 15-game season, only had 10 games he played last year. He only had 93 targets last year, 56 catches. This first 7 years, he averaged 125 targets. So, he's off, 130 or so, 140. 40 targets or so, 30 targets or so. But we have to keep in mind his last 2 seasons were with Jacoby Brissett and Phillip Rivers after, what's his name? Andrew Luck retired,
yeah.
which he retired in his prime, which is just sad to see, but we understand. But I'm really hoping T.Y. Hilton can kind of step it up. It's tough, T.Y. Hilton. He's got another new quarterback to get used to. That's 4 quarterbacks in 4 seasons. That's going to be tough. He's older. He's 31, I believe. 32, 31. That's he's going into his 10th season.
Yeah, it's 31. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see him having an all right season. They only signed him for 1 more year. I don't see a giant upside with him. I think he's going to have his up and down games in general, but he's still going to be somebody you want to look at. So we'll do the opposite side of that 31-year-old. We'll go to their, the young guy, Jonathan Taylor, their running back. Somewhat of a slow, shaky start at the beginning. He did all right. Middle, he kind of tailed off. He missed week 12. But after that, the last 5 weeks, he went off. He looked like something special. This could be their running back of the future. I think everybody has high praise for him and excited to see what he has. That being said, I'm a little concerned with them re-signing Marlon Mack. Now, I know he's coming off an torn Achilles from last year. He was the number 1 running back before injury. Not saying that Jonathan Taylor wouldn't have pushed him out for that lead, but it just makes me nervous. He got a 1-year, $2 million deal. Marlon Mack, that is. He's going to want that next contract. He's only 25 years old, guys. He's still really young. He's going to be fighting for his next role. So I could just see somewhat of a battle, and I think Jonathan Taylor is definitely the better player here, but sometimes wins out. So something we got to keep an eye on.
Haynes too. You got a pretty loaded backfield all around.
Exactly. Yeah. Haynes is going to do what he does. He's a good rounded player.
He's a pass catching back. He's
right.
He's decent. He'll give you a couple games if you need to stream him.
Agreed. So other than T.Y. Hilton, they have a couple wide receivers. Michael Pittman seems to be the next, the number 2. He got hurt last season. He only had 61 targets, 40 receptions. But he had some pretty good games. And I think, being so young and, having to start with another QB just like T.Y. Hilton does, there could be a good chance that this could be a 1A, 1B situation. Obviously, T.Y. Hilton has a lot more experience, but, injury-wise and just being younger in general could pose a threat to that number 1 spot. So that's something to keep in mind. And then lastly, my a quick thing was just, they do have Mo Alley Cox. They have a couple other Jack Doyle. But I could see, maybe them grabbing Zach Ertz, giving Carson Wentz his familiar face, making him feel a little bit more comfortable with the offense. Philly's said to be trying to get rid of him this season. So we can jump right into the questions. One of you guys want to go first with the question?
Yeah, I'll go. That's fine. Yeah. Like you said, they're a good overall team, but for fantasy value, I mean, it's few and far between. You got running back by committee. You had Wilkins, Haynes, and Jonathan Taylor, and then Marlon Mack went down on preseason, right?
Yep. For week 1.
For week 1. Yeah.
Yeah, so, week 1, like the first quarter.
Yeah. So that's their plan. That's Reich's plan. I think he misspoke. They traded for Wentz because he had that familiarity. No, that's fine. Just want to clarify that he was having an MVP run with him before Wentz went down. So I mean, you had that bridge quarterback with Phillip Rivers. If you watched him play, he couldn't throw the ball too well. It was coming out all wacky out of his hand. So yeah, you could find some value in the receivers in the late rounds. I'm talking like double-digit rounds. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor, number 1 running back. He's a stud. I'll take him. Their offensive line is great, led by that guard Quentin, who's an absolute beast there. But that's the best part of their team is their O-line. So Jonathan Taylor, and I'm not excited about anything else. Maybe I'll take a flyer out on Wentz just to see how he does, but yeah, I'm not too excited. Maybe their defense seems loaded up. They did pretty well last year until COVID hit their team pretty hard, and then they got destroyed by the Titans. And so you got to look at that too. If you are streaming defenses and stuff and you're seeing what their ranks are from last year, if they're missing a lot of guys and they let up a bunch of points for a couple weeks straight, that might be why. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, let me.
I think Michael Pittman has a fair amount of value. I mean, especially if you look at Fantasy Pros rankings right now, he's ranked 110, and he's the
overall,
and he's the 47th receiver. So I mean, you're talking like 9th, 10th, 11th round for Michael Pittman. I mean, I would take that
double digits. Double-digit rounds, yeah, 10th round.
And that's low risk, high reward. Like if Carson Wentz returns to form, which he's got one of the best O-lines in football, I mean, Michael Pittman could have a huge value this season.
I would agree. And I just want to throw this out to you guys. Eric Fisher, they don't know. He's coming off that Achilles tear, so they don't know if he's going to start week 1. That's obviously in question. So Jonathan Taylor, if he doesn't have a good week 1, do not get, worried, wait till they get their full line going. It might be a slow start. So there's something to keep in mind.
All right.
Ryan, want to jump to the next question, or are we good?
I mean, just real quick, do we think T.Y. has anything left in the tank? We just talked about it a little bit. He's 31. Where are you targeting him? What's his fantasy value at this point?
Yeah, so I think we could run through this real quick. He's obviously very talented. I do not really want him at, I could get him as a wide receiver 3, but if I could snag him as a 4, I'd be really happy. I'm not sure exactly what round that would be, but I do think he definitely has some value. He still had 93 receptions with a guy that couldn't throw last year. if Carson Wentz can really step it up, I think there's a real good chance he could produce.
93 targets, not receptions.
But
No,
right now,
he had like 50, but
56.
Yeah, he's good against Texans, which we'll get to in a minute.
So you got 2 games, so you're really good at
That no, not really, because I think one of them is the Texans is like the last game, week 18 or something. So you really only get one. I might be confusing the schedule. Sorry, I was looking at a lot of them. But yeah, so he's a streamer. He had 8 receptions, 110 yards, and 1 touchdown the first time he faced them. Then the second time he had 4 receptions for 71 yards. His second best game though was against the Raiders, obviously, because they can't stop anything there. Except Tua. They did stop Tua. But not Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, they can't stop Derek Carr. But yeah, so I won't draft him. I won't even take a flyer on him late in the season. Somebody else will drop him when it's a slow start. And maybe I'll pick him up for a Texans game. But I'd rather take a chance on a rookie.
Pittman.
Deep fly. Or Pittman. Yeah, I'd much rather do that. But I'm saying later in the draft, yeah, I'm going to take a flyer out on a...
You guys are low on these. I actually kind of like them. I
right.
I feel like these are good value picks. Hilton's like wide receiver 52 right now, like as a deep bench option.
That's a great way to put it. Good value. You know, because Carson Wentz could really turn it on. We don't know. That's a problem. Mac's right. They're probably going to start slow. Some people are going to drop these guys.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I'm going to be drafting with Ryan. So that's good to know.
I like it.
Should we move on, Ryan?
Yeah, let's move on.
What do we got next here? Let me see.
Don't mess with Texas.
Texans. Here we go. Take it
Oh
away,
boy,
Ryan.
the Houston Texans. All right,
What everybody's been waiting for right here. Let's get to
exactly
it.
the anticipation. Let's get through that. All right, notables. Number 1, Brandon Cooks, David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Rex Burkhead. I mean, if these names aren't, really, perking you up, I don't know what's going to get you going.
Awesome.
Also signed Philip Lindsay, and they still have Randall Cobb. So look at that. Look at that.
Wait, who do they have?
Philip Lindsay, Randall Cobb.
No. Oh.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah.
I knew it was
I was
coming.
trying to set up the Randall Cobb one, but it's all good.
I didn't know he still played.
Oh, man.
He tries very hard.
Yeah.
He does try hard. Yeah, a lot of these guys, they have, good effort. So the Texans, obviously, Bill O'Brien's not in the equation anymore. Romeo Crennel, who was the interim head coach, is no longer on the coaching staff. They bring in 65-year-old David Culley to be their new head coach. Extensive coaching experience in the league. Served mostly as an assistant coach and wide receiver coach throughout his career. Most recently as the wide receiver coach and passing game coordinator in Baltimore. You know what experience David Culley doesn't have? Coaching a team that didn't have a first-round pick last year. They didn't have a first or second-round pick this year. They lost 5 of their best franchise players that they've had in history, in their history, in the last 2 seasons. So let's go through those guys. J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson. Like this franchise is, they are in rough shape. They are.
Yeah, let me sum it up for you.
There it is.
Going still.
I mean, can you think about a
gross.
franchise? This team was two years ago was playing Kansas City in the divisional round in the AFC playoffs, and they were up 24-0, looking like they were going to the AFC Championship game. And from the time that Patrick Mahomes wiped out that lead in like a quarter and a half to now, that franchise has just trended downwards. Can you guys recall like another team that has tanked this quickly, this fast?
Not that.
Did they take on purpose? Like I don't know. You mean fall from grace right here? No.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody.
You can't. Bill O'Brien, genius, man. I should play the real man of genius drop for him. Totally screwed over. Yeah, he's not worth a click. Oh my gosh, totally screwed over this organization.
He's the king of the real man of genius. Like, dude, what the F, man? Like you have screwed over this franchise for the next 5 years. I mean, their first pick this year was Davis Mills in the 3rd round. And Nico
that was their
Collins.
first pick. First pick in the 3rd round.
And they're like excited about them. They're like, yeah, we got Davis Mills. He's got a high ceiling, and Nico Collins is gonna be like this. Like, just stop it. Your team is trash.
Trying to keep fans invested.
So what do you guys got? I mean, that's all I have for this team. Is this gonna be like, if you're looking at the schedule, over or under for 3 wins? I mean, what are you guys taking? Over 3 wins this season?
No.
Close.
no, I am not.
Negatory.
Are you, Regan?
No way.
No. All right.
So I didn't even touch on worst defense in football last year. They made nothing but like depth free agent signings. Their O-line, I mean, they added Marcus Cannon. The O-line is decent. Like Laramie Tunsil is still there. Like, obviously, they traded too much for Laramie Tunsil, but he's still a decent offensive lineman. They have Marcus Cannon. They have an okay O-line. That's about. That's the only positive I have to say about this team.
And they got like 12 running backs, so they're just going to stack the box versus this team at all times. This is gross.
It's automatic bye week, just like when you play Kyle in fantasy.
I'm gonna grab everyone else. This is probably why the Colts are gonna be so good if you got to play this team.
I'm in Jacksonville.
So the question is, guys, is there anyone at all you would draft on this team whatsoever? Is it the team just completely off the limits 100%?
No, I would take Cooks in a later round. Like he's talented. What?
I love the reaction.
I can't with you tonight. I can't. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I would take him over T.Y. Hilton.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Okay, so we just listed all the weapons of the Colts, and you said that you would take Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, and then running back by committee. You're not sure about Wentz. Okay. But
I'm more
Cooks
sure
can
about
get you
Tyrod Taylor.
Cooks can get you 1,000 yards. He won't with this offense, but as a wide receiver 4 to fill in on a bye week, yeah, I'll take him. I'm not saying he's my wide receiver 2 or 3, but to fill on a bye week, I'm just saying trying to find any bit of value. That's it. Is Cooks, because he can have a good game.
I would say off limits Brandon Cooks all day. Like,
all right.
Yep. And I would say T.Y. Hilton, for what you just said about Brandon Cooks, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, like I would want T.Y. Hilton there.
You would rather have T.Y. Hilton. Okay.
Yeah, just based off of offensive line and solidified offensive line, one of the top in the league, and a quarterback that has has proven that can be an MVP caliber quarterback in the league.
Now,
upside.
Let me throw this little Hail Mary at you. All right? If you take Brandon Cooks late, and then a couple weeks into the season, he's doing pretty well, and then they trade him to a better team where he automatically has a better quarterback, a better offense around him. There you go. Now I don't have to spend fab or waiver priority.
That's what you're banking on, though. It's too risky.
No, I'm not banking on it. I'm talking like a 15th round pick. grabbing Cooks.
I'm fine with like a 15th round. That's
But he won't be there because somebody will recognize the name and somebody will take him.
Yeah, then you can just pick him up off free agency.
Because he'll be on the waiver wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was just trying to say, I went to a yard sale and I spent $5 on Brandon Cooks, and that was the only good thing that I could ever find there to take a chance. Maybe I put some new batteries in it. I polish it up a bit. And that's the only little value of toy I got left is Brandon Cooks.
There is logic to what you're saying. I get that. Yes. I'm not discrediting that. I just don't agree with it necessarily.
You would take Hilton over. All right.
I would take Hilton. And I honestly, I don't know, I don't want David Johnson as a running back too, but if I could get David Johnson to be on my bench and insert him, I don't think Ingram's going to really compete all that much. I don't think Phillip Lindsay is going to compete all that much. David Johnson had a pretty good season last year. He still showed that he can be pretty versatile too. So I still think he's got some value. I'm not saying, again, we're not saying anybody here has a lot of value. I'm just saying I think David Johnson's another guy I would take a chance on.
I believe we're still talking about this team.
Okay, real quick though. All right, you might take a chance on David Johnson when there's better running backs to be had. All right, but you won't take a late flyer on Cooks, who last season, PPR ranking now. That's what we do for those that are new to the show. 16. And in 2020, 2019, we won't count. He was 62. He played 14 games, but he had a messed up year. Then he was ranked 13, 15, 9th, and 13th. I'd rather take a chance on that. Somebody that's a wide receiver too, with bad quarterbacks back then as well, than T.Y. Hilton, who is very fluky, who hasn't been in the top 15 and I don't even know how many years. I'm not going to spend time looking that up though.
So only 2 years. T.Y. Hilton was doing pretty good for the first 7 years. He's going into his 10th year.
Yeah.
So and Phillip Rivers throwing him the football. Late Phillip Rivers, You said it yourself. The guy was throwing ducks all last season. I don't know. Listen.
I'm just saying he's still got talent, and you could take a chance. That's all I'm saying.
There are more wide receivers to pluck from than there are.
Yes, you're right, Regan.
I'm the voice of the people. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. People are already tuned out.
Killing me, Smalls. We just lost half our viewers. Please stay. It gets better.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we'll move on to something better. Jacksonville Jaguars. All right.
Crap.
Yeah. Bye week is on the 7th week. They were 1-15, last in the division. They tanked for Trevor. They got James Robinson. They signed Carlos Hyde for 2 years. They drafted Travis Etienne. They got DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones, and of course, the best. If I can find it, I will move on. Tim Tebow. I was trying to find the drop for him, but I couldn't.
You have a drop set up for Tim Tebow. That is precious.
I did. I don't know where it went, though.
I love it.
Anyway.
Carry on.
Totally pointless. I'm going to carry on. All right, so they started out hot, beating the Colts on opening day. Then they went on to lose 15 in a row. All right, their team checked out. They knew they were tanking. Management wanted to happen. Doug Marrone, of course, wanted to have a job. So people are like, oh, they don't tank. Teams don't tank. They were tanking. You got a chance to get Trevor Lawrence, you got to go for it. Then the Jets screwed that up. But hey, whatever. So they do have a handful of talent there. Their O-line and defenders, they shipped out, though. Salary cap space and draft picks, collecting those up. So I think Trevor's going to be scrambling a lot because their O-line is not – they're in the bottom half of rankings. I don't have their rankings right now. I don't know if you have it, Ryan, but I believe they're in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway. Yeah, we'll edit that in post. So the Jaguars' claws needed a manicure. So what did they do? They hire Urban Meyer. All right. I don't think he's going to do well. I'm predicting an encore of Nick Saban with his stint in Miami. All right. Saban was promising he won't take the Alabama job. Then a few weeks later, he takes the job after only being with Miami for 2 years. Urban Meyer's going to do something. He's. I don't want to get all into his personal off-the-field issues, but health conditions, in quotes, some scandals with some teams. He's a liar, and I don't particularly like him too much. So anyway, to the players though, they drafted Lawrence first overall, ETN with the 25th. Then they went defense, got some O-line guys, signed Carlos Hyde, who used to play for Urban Meyer back in the day. And then they got Marvin Jones for 2 years as well. And of course, Tebow for a locker room guy that Urban trusts back with his history with him. So good guy, good leader. That's great, but I'm trying to look at fantasy production here. So to kind of support my case of why I don't think they're going to work out too well, is mainly because of the coaching staff, not so much the talent. Okay, so we can find some fantasy value. We'll get into that, but real quick, the revamped coaching staff. All right, so Darrell Bevel becoming the OC. He ranked in the bottom half in every stat in Detroit for the past few seasons. All right, besides passing, but that's just Matt Stafford slinging it. So I don't really think it's his offensive game planning or playbook. But he did have success with the Vikings and the Seahawks. So back in 08 and 09 with the Vikings, in 2012, to 2017, top 10 with the Seahawks. They did sign on a bunch of defensive players, but they are inexperienced or off the scrap heap as well. So their defense is going to be bad again. So that's good news for scoring points. The problem is he keeps on saying we're going to run the ball, we're going to pound the ball. So he has a college offensive mind where he runs the ball more than he passes. So that's why I think if you listen back to episode 2, I think Zach Wilson will become Rookie of the Year and will have a better season than Trevor Lawrence. Bold prediction.
Did you say Rookie of the Year before?
I did.
Oh, I thought you just said he was doing to do better. Wow, that is
No, he'll be Rookie of the Year. And it's going to be so unexpected. Anyway.
Sure will be.
It will be, and I will be quite surprised as well. So I just have a question for you before I continue on, all right? Who's going to have a worse defense, Texans or Jags? I think we know the answer.
I'm going to say Texans because they're going to be on the field way more.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
Exactly my point.
Exactly. So,
sorry, Ryan.
So they will be running the ball, controlling the clock, not scoring that many points because they're trying to keep their defense off the field. So I don't think they want to score quick. So therefore, Trevor Lawrence's points won't be so high. That's what I'm saying.
Good point. It's a good point right there.
Well, thank you. We'll see. Just a theory. I still got to crunch some more numbers, but we'll see.
This team's so fresh. That's the problem.
Yeah, and just another quick point to validate my reasoning. I remember Marshall Faulk talking about this when they signed Urban Meyer. All right, he's never developed a meaningful quarterback to make noise. He's like Alex Smith back in the day. Okay, he did all right, and then he had Tim Tebow. Ryan, did anybody win with Tim Tebow in one of our leagues as their quarterback?
Yes.
One time.
Yes, they did.
That was it.
Freeman,
All right.
Tebow.
Mm-hmm. So,
It
okay.
wasn't me.
That's great. It wasn't flashing. But the players that did become great after they left Urban Meyer. All right, so he did develop these guys. Zeke, Michael Thomas, Carlos Hyde had some production. He showed some flashes. Percy Harvin, he actually won me a championship when I had him back in the day. The Pouncey brothers, their great O-line, Joey Bosa, Carlos Dunlap. You notice that it's not really any quarterbacks. The quarterbacks, Alex Smith I mentioned, Dwayne Haskins, Braxton Miller, Cardell Jones, Chris Leak. Regan, you know who those guys are?
Really?
Yeah, exactly. Haskins probably going to be cut by Pittsburgh soon enough, so we'll see.
Oh, God.
So nothing really notable either about college coaches that come into the NFL. I already mentioned Nick Saban. He sucked. He went like less than 500 with Miami. It's not Miami's fault. It was all his fault. The team was great. Let's see. Chip Kelly, he had a good flash in the beginning, but then he fizzled out. Doug Marrone in Buffalo, he sucked. Greg Schiano, he sucked. The players hated him too. Matt Rule and Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury showing some promise with that offense, but is that Kyler Murray or him? And DeAndre Hopkins, but we'll see. Jury's still out on them, though. So I'm just saying the odds are not in his favor. I don't think it's going to pan out well for Urban Meyer. I think he's too college-minded. And I think in a couple of years he's got to fizzle out and be like, yeah, college was easier, or he'll go back to retirement. We'll see.
You hate this dude.
I don't hate him. I just don't respect him.
Oh. Comes off as hate.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hate's a very strong word.
All right, dislike immensely.
So the stats are kind of hard to go off with, so I'm not really sure how to rank the receivers and running backs here. So it's going to be running back by committee. James Robinson was ranked 7th last year. He did awesome. He was undrafted. He did awesome. Chark, he did awesome 2 years ago for me. 1,000-yard guy, 8 touchdowns. Last year he had some struggle, but he had Gardner Minshew throwing to him and Jake Luton. And I think somebody else as well came in for a game. So I think he kind of checked out. Put a pin in that. Then Jones from Detroit, he had 978. He's very inconsistent. He had 8 touchdowns on 76 receptions, but he'll have like a 4-touchdown game and then go 0. He got some goose eggs for me last year. So I don't think I really care for Marvin Jones. I'm not sure I'm going to take him. Robinson, I mentioned he had over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, plus 49 receptions, 350 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And they're already saying how they want ETN to be lining up in the slot and taking some catches. So, yeah, his production value is going to go down. And with Carlos Hyde, his veteran that he knows, and then whatever gimmick play they do with Tim Tebow is going to take away points. So I'm just saying it's going to be a bit spread out. And plus, I don't think they're going to score too much. I believe I wrote down the points they had. Points for was 306, and they had points against 492. So, I mean, that was a bit tough. But it's very hard to tell because of a whole new coaching staff, rookie quarterback, rookie running back, and everything. So it is a gamble, but you got to go off their talent. I'm going to take them. I'm just saying I'm finding a hard time ranking them right now. Last year they only threw 425 passing attempts. And if Urban Meyer's saying that he's just got to run the ball more, you think he's going to be above 400? So that doesn't really help out the receivers and PPR formats and stuff. So we'll see on that. Then I just have a question for you guys. We can touch on whatever I said here, but if your coach publicly says that you are average and you should have played better last year on a team that was tanking for Trevor, like Urban Meyer did to DJ Chark publicly to the press. Are you going to want to play for that guy? I think he's already starting to lose the locker room. And he's treating it like he's a tough guy with college players, and now you're talking to young men who got millions of dollars now, and they're not gonna be like that. You got to learn how to talk to these guys. I mean, you don't have a reputation like Bill Belichick to be able to call people out like that.
I think with that, like I listened to an interview with DJ Chark today, and he was talking about how like him and Meyer have a great relationship, and that he has said this from day one that he likes to be challenged and likes to push himself. And according to Meyer, like he stepped up to the challenge and he put on 7 pounds of muscle, and he is in great shape, and he is like proven that he is dedicated and a hard worker, all this stuff, right? And to your point, Mac, I think that stuff's like fine at the beginning. But look at what happened with Rex Ryan. Like he was a similar coach, right? Where like he called out people in press conferences. He was like a little bit of like a rah-rah guy, like he was an open book, right? So like at first it was like authentic and different and cool. But then when they started losing games, it just went downhill real fast. I can see that happening with Meyer. I could see it being like something exciting and new now and getting real old real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their first 5 games are Texans, so they should start out hot. That's going to be they should put that to Sunday night.
Barn burner.
Broncos, Cardinals, Bengals, and Titans. So they're going to at least go 1-4, maybe 2-3 in those first 5 games. So I think the Bengals will be able to score a lot more points than them. So, yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts on this, Regan?
No, I don't. I just really think we should have put a team in between the Texans and the Jags. That's all I'm saying.
True.
I did have one thing on Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if you guys saw, but he threw 2 pick sixes today in OTAs. And got hurt with a hamstring injury.
Oh, good.
So, looking good so far. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early, so these types of practices, I don't take too much stock in them. Unless they get hurt, then that's different. But pick sixes, whatever.
Sure, Milo loves it.
I don't know. Maybe he'll tell him to bulk up too.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Should we get to the next team? And let's see. What do we got?
Greek mythology, the Titans were greater even than the gods. They ruled their universe with absolute power. Well, that football field out there tonight, that's our universe.
All right. We'll spend about 10 minutes on the Titans, Regan, and go.
Of course, the most exciting one. We got to cut it off.
Nah, we'll go 15 minutes. We'll edit out a lot of the Jacksonville Texans.
Smart move. So that little speech you just had there, that worked out pretty well because they finished first in their division. From the movie. Anyways, so this is Tennessee Titans. They finished 11-5. First in their division. Obviously, the big news is, Julio Jones. Them acquiring him is a complete game changer, and it's pretty exciting. They went from a team that didn't make it as far as they really wanted to last year to a team that could be in the the AFC Championship. So notable players, obviously AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. They grabbed Josh Reynolds from the Rams. Players they lost though: Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith. Some big feet that they're shoes. I'm sorry, that they're gonna have to fill. They went pretty heavy with defense through the draft and free agency. They seem to mostly go with defense. They grabbed 2 pass rushers, Denico Autry from the Colts and Bud Dupree from the Steelers, and then 5 of their 8 draft picks. They grabbed some defensive players. One of note, Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech. He got injured. He was in contentions of being, the number one cornerback off the board. He fell to number 3. Should be if he can stay healthy, that could be a big steal and a big help to this Tennessee defense. So obviously the elephant in the room, Julio Jones, traded to the Titans for a second round 2020 pick and a fourth round 2023 pick. They get Julio and they get a 6th round 2023 pick. And also $38 million. I think I said earlier it was 26. That might have been Carson Wentz. $38 million bill for a 32-year-old wide receiver. They have him through 2023. The question with this would, is he still a number 1 elite wide receiver? I don't think he's going to be a number 1. I still think he could be elite. Tennessee, after losing Jonnu Smith and Corey Davis, that's 143 passes that they need to divvy out to the rest of the receivers. Necessarily those all could go to Julio. Not saying they are, but that's where they could go. Julio's been given the injury-prone tag, the past few years. And even though that's true, I think last year he only played 9 games. 2 of them he left early. So within those 7 games, he was still on pace for 1,600 yards receiving. So when he does play, he's still elite. I know he doesn't get those touchdowns that you want, but Matt Ryan's horrible in the red zone, and that's been known. Going back to their other, established star receiver or soon-to-be star, A.J. Brown, he establishes himself in the NFL. His first 30 games in the league, he has a total of 122 catches, 200 targets, 2,100 reception yards, 19 touchdowns. Guy's an up-and-coming stud, if you ask me. And pairing him up with a possible stud, if it can pan out, is only going to benefit the 2 of them. You can't double team both of them. They both AJ Brown and Julio Jones last year averaged 7.5 targets per game. So they're both inclined to get their catches. Bring up the defense. The defense was one of their big problems. The defense is going to have a problem. I'm sorry, guys. With AJ Brown and Julio Jones, you can't double cover both of them. This is going to open up this entire field. The defense needs to worry about Derrick Henry in the backfield, and now 2 stud wide receivers that are great with the ball after the catch. I believe AJ Brown I think he might have been first last year with, I think it was either 7 or 10 yards after the catch, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's a beast after the catch, man. His route running is crisp. I love him.
Yeah, and
he had to get surgery on his knees too. He's played all year with problems with his knees. So,
and think about it now. So now there's not going to be 2 guys covering him, so he won't get tackled by the other one after he burns the other. So that's great. This is looking pretty good. It was a smart move by them. I think this is probably the best landing spot for Julio. There could have been a lot of worse spots, worse landings. I would have loved to see him go to the Patriots, but I don't think that really would have been a good landing spot fantasy-wise. But anyways, guys,
too expensive for Bill too.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It would just
they'd be up at the cap. They'd be up at the cap.
Oh yeah,
hard, so.
By far, we'd be in Atlanta's spot. It'd be like switching, so there's no point. This all brings us to the obvious workhorse, Derrick Henry. He actually just became the 8th player to run for 2,000 yards in a season. What was it? Oh, he ranks 19th in overall in carries in a season. There's 378 carries in one season, so that ranked him 19th over anyone in the NFL ever. That's kind of scary. He had 681 times he's ran the ball in the past 2 seasons. So in the past 2 seasons, he ran it. Is that right? 2 seasons? Yeah, last season. Wow. I'm mind blown by the numbers. So the 378 yards, which ranked him 19th, was all of last season. You really kept that whole team together. You know, that was their offense. So I think some of these carries might get taken away from Derrick Henry, but he's still a possibly top 5 running back. He's still going to get his carries. You know, and just think, you know, with Julio and AJ Brown on opposite sides, they both run fade routes or something like that. You know, the flats are open for Derrick Henry to leak out, get a couple catches. The thing is, you know, Derrick Henry's better. He's better at running someone over. He likes running to the defensive line, you know, and he can get caught from behind, you know, through those quick linebackers. So I think he's definitely going to get a couple more catches just to, you know, throw it out there. But I don't think he's going to be as productive as you might think with so much room. You know, also another quick thing, Ryan Tannehill restructured his contract today, freeing up $15 million more. So, you know, they are looking for a tight end now. I think that seems to be the thing that they really want to, you know, help out. You know, I said it earlier for the Colts earlier, but Zach Ertz. There's a couple of I think Trey Burton's a free agent. There's another one. So they could, you know, grab a stud tight end. I think the tight ends like to actually play with double tight. So they had Fisker, I believe, who was actually played slot last year.
Yeah, he's not that good.
No, he's not. But I still believe he had about 56 targets or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he mostly played slot, so I think they really do need to get some tight end depth. So I'll bring it to my first question, guys, for this. Obviously, it's Julio. Where do you guys feel comfortable taking him in a 12-team PPR draft? You know, we don't have to get into detail on exactly where, but is there anybody – I don't know. Are you guys nervous? Is he going to be a wide receiver 1 to you? You know, is he going to go in those top 3 rounds?
Oh, he'll go in the top 3 for sure. I'm not taking him. Maybe back end of the second, Ryan. I don't know if I'm going to take him any time before that, but I'd rather get 2 stud running backs or a number 1 running back, and then Jonathan Taylor, and then AJ Brown in the second. That's what I would rather go with. But
yeah, I don't know how. Like, I don't necessarily think Julio is a wide receiver 1. Like you had mentioned, Mac, unless you have 2 stud running backs. Like, I think 3rd round is a pretty good value for him. But I think anything less than that, like if you're going to have a running back 1 and then Julio Jones, or I don't know how much I love that.
Yeah, if I could get him in the 3rd round, if I could have a running back and another established wide receiver, I'd be ecstatic beyond belief with Julio Jones as my number 2. I think there's some real value there in the 3rd round. Before that, though, I obviously, if it was between AJ Brown and Julio Jones, I'm taking AJ Brown.
Mm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, easy, right?
I'd say so.
And either of you guys got questions, or we closing out?
I want to touch on Tannehill real quick. Heath Cummings from CBS, a really good follow. You could follow him on Twitter. You could follow us at JustATipFFP. But yeah, and I'll copy his work and share it with you guys. But so he wanted to point this out with Ryan Tannehill, all right? When he took over in the 2019... Somebody else talk.
I was just going to say he was QB7 last year, I believe. Is that correct, Mac?
Yes, QB7. All right. So since 2019, there have been 32 QBs that have thrown at least 500 passes. Tannehill ranks first in yards attempt at 8.55. First in air yard attempts, 9.23. Second in passer rating, depends how much stock you put into that, at 110.6. And second in touchdown percentage at 7.2%. So the QBs have scored more than Tannehill since week 7 when he took over. of 2019 is Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. That's pretty good company to be in.
Oh, yeah.
With this move, I like the attempts going down for Derrick Henry so he can stay healthier for the playoffs, because when they reach the playoffs, his workload's been so heavy. And now a new offensive coordinator, because Arthur Smith is the head coach of the Falcons, so he's moved out. We don't know what this offense is going to be like, but obviously they're game planning, bringing in Julio Jones. I don't know. It's plus 2,500 for Tannehill to be MVP. We'll have to get Jerry on. But I'm getting kind of excited, man, that Miami knew something when they drafted him, but Adam Gase ruined them in Miami, and we traded him off for cheap. But yeah, he might be in the running for MVP this year.
It's always comes back to Miami. It always comes back to Miami.
I always bring it back to Miami.
Good, right?
It definitely seems like they're going to open it up more. Like all the signs lead to that. Even like Derrick Henry posting, like, you know, working in the passing game and running routes and stuff like that. Like, I think they want to. I think you're right. I think they want to limit his carries. They want to open it up a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, even though like Derrick Henry might have less carries overall, I think he's going to have more red zone attempts. I think he's going to have more targets. Like, I think he's going to have increased value this year because of the addition of Julio Jones. Do
you guys see him? You know, obviously, if MVP, he's above 7 last year. Do you have a prediction, Mac, on where do you think he finishes?
Tannehill?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he could be in number 1.
Whew, baby. All right, just checking. I want to see where how you really felt.
No, I'm legit considering it, man. He's going to be. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to probably draft him too early, but I was going to take him later because he gets some of those rushing touchdowns too. The RPOs faking it to Henry, running out the back door.
Yeah, slip screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might actually look into betting that.
Oh, really?
I think top 5 is very realistic. I think.
Oh, for sure.
And ceiling might be number 1, like Mac's saying, but I think he's definitely going to be in the top 5 this year.
Do you guys think he'll be drafted like that, or do you think he'll be drafted a little lower just from past experiences?
Well, obviously, if everybody's listening to us right now,
yeah, great.
We draft with
first pick overall.
They'll be taking him in no later than the 3rd round. They'll take him before Mahomes. Yeah, no, I don't know. He's probably going to be, 6th, 7th round pick. People are going to see the potential and take a chance on him. But Derrick Henry at PPR, he's ranked 3rd. Do you think he's going higher than that, Ryan?
I still think McCaffrey and Kamara might have the edge on him, especially in PPR.
I think Dalvin Cook as well, too.
Yeah, but I think he's closed the gap with those guys for sure, even in PPR.
Well, he ranked 3rd last year, so
in
PPR. And if he gets those reception points, less attempts, but the field opens up more for him, so more yards, more catches. I don't know.
So who were above him? Kamara and Cook, and then McCaffrey was out of the picture because of his injury.
It wasn't McCaffrey, so it was Kamara and Cook, I believe.
Yeah, it's just his durability, guys. It's the guy doesn't miss games and he's a tank. Then add passes, add catches. Love that. I wouldn't see taking him. I don't think I would take him.
You're not going to take him number 1 overall. It's McCaffrey. But
yeah, no, but I like Dalvin Cook, so I feel like I would take him 4th. Kamara scares me just because I don't know who the quarterback is.
Yeah. I think with all these targets, going to Julio and A.J. Brown, if they're opening up the field, I don't think he's going to make top 3. Again, I think yesteryear was his peak. Unfortunately.
It's a possibility, but he's still a stud, so don't be scared of him.
Oh, he's still first round pick, but top 6, top Top 5. Yeah.
I feel like
say
this
he sneaks into the top 5.
I feel like his floor definitely has risen, though. Would you guys say so? With this, take a couple runs off, possibly get some more catches. I don't know. Like you're saying, his ceiling might not be there, but durability wise and so on, I could see his floor rising a little.
I agree. I think I agree with that. Like, I think there are people that are concerned around his age and the fact that he hasn't been injured, and just about every running back has some kind of major injury eventually. So, I think his floor has risen a bit. I wouldn't be scared of him. Like
I'm
you
not
just
at
said.
all.
No.
I've actually been scared of him the past couple of years. I've never had Derrick Henry on a team in his whole NFL experience.
Me
Never.
neither. Me neither.
Surprisingly.
I just miss out. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of, obviously we all do PPR, and I'm a big fan of just getting that guy that you're going to get some catches, because even if they have a dull week, you're still going to get 5-6 points with a couple catches.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else?
We're good.
Anything
Thanks
else
for
on that?
bringing up. Yeah, thanks for bringing up Tannehill. I know I skimmed over that, so good stuff, Mac.
No, we were rushing in there. We took too long on some other teams, but yeah,
Yeah, the crappy ones.
yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be fun ranking that team, the Titans. There, we'll see. I don't think Derrick Henry is gonna match what he did last year. 17 touchdowns last year. That's a lot,
Ooh.
and might be taken away going to Julio and AJ Brown. So we'll see. Before we get
Julio
to the
doesn't get any
leftovers,
touchdowns.
if he doesn't, yeah, it's true, he doesn't with Matt Ryan. So before we get to the leftovers here, I want to just say thank you again for listening to us, subscribing, following our channels, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, and Amazon. Follow us on our socials at Just a Tip FFP. Like, comment, slide into our DMs there. Or the old-fashioned way, you can email us at justatipffpodcast@gmail.com. As always, thank you for those who have been taking our tips and sharing our tips. We will be your tippers for as long as possible, as long as you keep us going.
Wink, wink.
Just not too fast. Ryan, you got anything for the leftovers?
I mean, as we're getting closer to the fantasy season, a great resource that I found is ESPN's Next Gen Stats. Just good insight into some advanced stats that you don't really think about. I've mentioned them a little bit on the show: yards before contact, total time to pass, stats like that. So take a look, check it out. It's pretty interesting, and I think it's helpful in the long run.
All right,
I like
that's
it.
That's a good tip.
Thanks for giving us your fantasy cheat sheet. Write that down.
You got anything, Regan?
Nope, not at all. I'm burnt out.
Your bed
Birthday
down.
recovery. Yeah. And then we went to the
getting,
beach on Sunday, so I was just baking.
Yeah.
Just not good.
Yeah, I went to a pool on Sunday, so I kept jumping in the shade so I didn't burn to a crisp. It's not lovely weather for gingers out there right now. So for my leftovers, I got 2. We're running low on time, so I'll get to my other one some other time. But this past weekend, I went to go watch A Quiet Place 2. Pretty fun, pretty good movie, nice, short and sweet. Jim from The Office directing it; he stars in it as well. But yeah, it's a great Alien and Jurassic Park vibes. So if you're into that type of horror, it's pretty fun. Check it out. But just don't ask Regan's mom out. She already went with me, and she was pretty scared. So.
Oh, I hope you helped her.
I held her
too
hand,
much, though.
I held her hand the whole time.
Yeah, I hate your face.
It's alright.
Parents don't listen to this.
They don't.
My dad apparently does.
Oh shit!
They're
that's right.
divorced though, so you're all set. He's gonna get a kick out of this.
Oh, he probably will. He probably will. But
Must have been great going to the movies though, right? Did you go?
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
I went last.
awesome.
I went last year too. We got
I know.
a private showing to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. It was great.
Oh, this is one of the best movies.
It is. But you also have the best mom, so make sure you tell her.
Jesus,
Hi.
guy. Can we end this? I'm done. Thank you for watching.
It's
See you
over.
next time.
Thanks for enjoying our tips, everybody.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.